Welcome to Cruise News, your daily update on everything happening at sea. Visit cruisenews.io to see today's stories and sign up for email alerts.
Good to be back.
So today, we are looking at what I think is a fascinating split-screen moment happening in the cruise world.
It really feels like it's pulling in two opposite directions at the same time.
Exactly. On one side of the Atlantic, you've got these major U.S. ports, pouring concrete, spending billions, basically rolling out a giant red carpet for bigger and bigger ships.
And then on the other side, you look at these historic European capitals, and they're trying to hang up a giant "Do Not Disturb" sign.
It's this exact tension expansion versus restriction that we're going to unpack today, because cruise ports are, they are actively reshaping the future right now.
Right. Some are building out to handle what they see as unstoppable demand, and others are deciding that the demand itself is actually the problem.
It really gets to a fundamental question, doesn't it? What is a port city today? Is it a commercial engine? A gateway for tourism?
Or is it a protected space for residents where these massive ships are seen more and more as an intrusion?
To dig into this, we've got three big stories lined up. First, we'll head to Los Angeles, where they are betting big on a next-generation terminal.
Then we'll check in on New Orleans, a real consistent performer that just hit another huge passenger milestone.
And then the big one. We have to talk about Amsterdam, where the city is seriously weighing a total ban on ocean cruise ships by 2035.
A huge story.
It is. But okay, let's start on the West Coast. The Port of Los Angeles has just picked a developer for a massive new project.
They've tapped a group called Pacific Cruise Terminals, or PCT.
And when you look into who PCT actually is, it's pretty interesting.
It is. It's a joint venture. You have Carrix, a big Seattle-based terminal operator, the folks who know how to run the docks.
And the other half is JLC Infrastructure out of New York.
Right, and that's a name that probably jumps out to a lot of people.
It's the Magic Johnson connection, right? JLC was co-founded by Irvin Magic Johnson and Jim Reynolds.
It was.
Yeah.
And look, it's always interesting to see celebrity investment, but I think the real story here is what it signifies.
Okay.
You don't get a major infrastructure fund like JLC involved in something like a cruise terminal unless they see it as a stable, long-term asset. They see decades of reliable income.
So they're not just flipping it, they see it as a toll booth that's going to be collecting money for a long, long time.
For a very long time.
Yeah.
And the scope of what they're building really backs that up. This isn't just a new coat of paint.
No, it's a two-part deal. First, a brand new outer harbor cruise terminal.
And second, they're taking over and redeveloping the entire existing World Cruise Center in San Pedro.
Which has been around since 1988. It's an institution.
It is, but that outer harbor part is the real game changer here. The older terminals, they're often deep inside the port.
Which has to be a headache for these huge new ships to navigate.
It's a nightmare. The outer harbor means easier access, faster turnarounds, and, most importantly, it can handle the sheer size of the next generation of ships.
And the descriptions of this new terminal, they don't sound like a typical port building, a big warehouse where you just stand in line.
No, the renderings look incredible. A modern, circular structure with berths on both sides.
It's treating the terminal like it's part of the vacation itself?
That's the idea. They're integrating it with the waterfront. They're planning a central grassy park, outdoor seating. It's meant to be a destination.
And it's built for the newer generations of ships, specifically.
And it's future-proof.
With the shore power capability.
Yes. That's becoming non-negotiable. The newest, most profitable ships require it. If you can't plug them in, they might just skip your port altogether.
And the numbers seem to back up this kind of investment. 2025 was a record year for LA. 241 cruise calls, 1.6 million passengers.
Those are huge numbers. The West Coast market is a year-round powerhouse now.
And the economic impact, the port says, is about $1.3 million for every single ship call.
So do the math on that for 2025.
It's over $300 million.
And that explains everything. That's why you pour the concrete. LA is making a very clear play to be the undisputed West Coast gateway for cruising.
Okay, so LA is building for the future. Let's shift over to the Gulf Coast. New Orleans isn't building a giant circular terminal, but man, They are proving their staying power.
The consistent performer, for sure.
Port Nole just announced they topped 1 million cruise passenger movements again in 2025.
And the context there is so important. That's the 9th consecutive year they've crossed that million mark if you take out the pandemic years.
That shows incredible resilience.
A lot of ports would love to have that kind of sustained demand.
Now, I was looking at the data, and the 2025 total, about 1.06 million, was actually a little bit lower than 2024. Should we read into that dip?
I don't think so, because if you look at the monthly numbers, the story's actually the opposite.
Okay.
March of 2025 was the single highest month in the port's entire history. Over 165,000 passenger movements.
So the peaks are actually getting higher, even if the annual number flattened out a bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that can just come down to a ship's dry dock schedule or repositioning. The underlying demand is still incredibly strong.
So what's the secret sauce for New Orleans? I mean, beyond being an amazing city to visit.
It has a totally unique selling point in the U.S. market. It's the only home port that supports both ocean cruises and river cruises.
That's a huge distinction.
It is. From one city, you can get on a massive ship to the Caribbean, or you can board a riverboat to go up the Mississippi.
It creates this really diverse tourism ecosystem.
It really does. And it protects them from shifts in any one part of the market. And they're gearing up for more growth, too. Royal Caribbean is coming back.
And Carnival is upgrading their ship there.
Right, they're bringing in the Carnival Dream to replace the smaller Carnival Valor.
A bigger ship just means more passengers per sailing. Simple math.
It's an efficiency play. And when you look at the economics, $445 million annually for the region, and the fact that 90% of those cruisers come from out of state.
That's new money. People flying in, staying in hotels, eating in the restaurants before they even get on the ship.
It's a massive boost for the local economy.
So the story in the U.S. is clear. Build it bigger, break more records, bring us more people.
Which brings us to the screeching halt we're seeing across the Atlantic.
Let's fly over to Amsterdam, because while L.A. and New Orleans are celebrating, Amsterdam is effectively saying, we might be done.
It's such a stark contrast. The coalition government there is seriously weighing a proposal for a full phase-out of ocean-going cruise ships by 2035.
And let's be clear, this isn't just limiting ships. This is a potential ban, and everybody out order for the big ocean laners.
That's what's on the table. Now, to be precise, it's not a final law yet. The next administration has to take it up after the elections in March 2026. But the political momentum is undeniable.
I remember just a few years ago, the whole discussion was about moving the terminal, wasn't it? Moving it from the city center out to the Western Harbor.
That was the plan. That was seen as the compromise. But now, officials like Mayor Halsema are looking at the price tag.
How much was it going to cost?
Over 85 million euros. And they're looking at that number and basically saying, we're not sure we'll ever get a return on that investment.
So the thinking has shifted from, let's move the problem, to, let's just eliminate the problem.
Pretty much. And here's the crazy part. They've calculated that banning the ships will cost them money, too. About 46 million euros in lost revenue over 30 years.
Wait, hold on. So it costs 85 million to move the terminal, but only costs them 46 million to ban the ships entirely.
In terms of direct cost versus lost revenue? Yes. It's actually cheaper for them to just say goodbye.
That's a stunning calculation for a city to make.
It is. And they're arguing that the loss is worth it for what they call livability. Better air quality, less over-tourism.
And there's an urban planning issue at play here too, isn't there?
A huge one. The city has plans to build new bridge over the IJ River to connect some neighborhoods.
And the current cruise terminal is physically in the way.
The ships are too tall. The terminal blocks the bridge. It's a classic case of a city deciding that connecting its own residents is more important than housing these massive visiting ships.
So even before this potential 2035 ban, things are getting tighter right now.
Oh, definitely. The cap on ship calls has already been slashed from 190 a year down to 100.
And the goal is no more than one ocean ship per day starting in 2026.
Plus mandatory shore power by 2027. It's a major clampdown.
But there's a really important nuance here. This is for ocean ships. What about the river cruises?
The river cruises are safe. This is the crucial distinction.
And there are a lot of them.
A lot. Around 11 to 150 calls a year are expected to continue. The city sees them differently. They're smaller, they use different docks, and they don't loom over the historic center like, as one politician put it, floating apartment blocks.
Floating apartment blocks, that quote says it all, doesn't it? It's really about quality of life versus pure revenue. So if I'm a cruise line and I can't get a spot in Amsterdam, where do I go?
Go to Rotterdam.
which is not the same thing.
Not at all. It's a great city, but it's about an hour away by bus or train.
Yeah.
And we're already seeing lines like Carnival and Celebrity do this.
So they dock in Rotterdam and then just bus everyone for an hour to see Amsterdam.
Yep. Put them on a bus, drive them in, let them wander around for a few hours, bus them back.
That feels like a real downgrade to the passenger experience. That's 2 hours of your day gone.
It is, but the demand to see Amsterdam is just that high. But it changes the visit. It turns the city into just another day trip excursion, not a true port of call where you wake up in the heart of it all.
And this isn't just an Amsterdam thing, is it? This feels like a broader European trend.
It's definitely not just Amsterdam. You look at Barcelona, they're closing city center terminals.
The French Riviera has limits on ship size.
And Greece is talking about new passenger taxes for the islands. The pendulum is swinging back hard against mass cruise tourism in these historic centers.
The golden age of docking right next to the cathedral seems to be coming to an end.
I think you're right.
Okay, fascinating stuff. Before we get to our final thought, let's hit a few other stories in our news brief segment.
Let's do it.
First, Princess Cruises in Asia. The Diamond Princess is adding destination-driven dining.
A very smart move. They're adding a high-end sushi restaurant and their Crown Grill. It shows they know you can't just serve generic food to the Japanese market. It has to be authentic and high quality.
Back to California, the Blue Whales and Blue Skies program.
Yeah, this is the voluntary speed reduction program. Slow steaming.
To protect whales.
Protect whales from strikes and also to cut down on air pollution. More cruise lines are joining for 2026. It's just becoming an expectation of doing business on the California coast.
Quick one from Royal Caribbean. They're moving up the debut of Legend of the Seas
to July 4th, 2026. You only do that if bookings are incredibly strong. It shows the demand for those big resort-style ships in Europe is still booming, even as some cities push back.
And finally, a leadership note. Captain Birger Vorland of the Crystal Serenity is retiring.
It's the end of an era. He was a steady hand through Crystal's bankruptcy and its relaunch. His retirement really feels like the brand is officially moving into its next chapter under new ownership.
A big moment for that crew. Okay, let's bring it all together. We've got LA building a massive cruise hub where the port is a destination, and Amsterdam saying the ship no longer fits the city.
A complete split.
So what's the big takeaway? Where is this all heading?
Well, here's a provocative thought for you. As these ships keep getting bigger, like the ones LA is specifically building for, are we actually seeing the end of city center cruising?
What do you mean by that? The end of it?
I mean, think about it. If the only places that can handle these megaships are huge industrial-style hubs like San Pedro or Rotterdam, are we witnessing a geographic separation of the ship from the city?
So the ship and the destination are kind of getting a divorce.
Exactly. Is the future that historic cities just become backdrops you take an hour-long bus ride to see? The ship itself becomes the primary destination and the actual city. It's just another shore excursion on the list.
That's a really interesting thought. Are you booking a trip to visit a city, or are you just booking a trip to visit a port?
That's the question we all need to start asking.
Well, on that note, we're going to dock this episode right here.
Thanks for listening to Cruise News. Visit cruisenews.io to catch up on the latest updates and sign up for free email alerts.